Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting hour of Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, and along with Joel Watts, we'll be calling the action here, and it's really going to be an action-packed card. I'm excited just seeing that new opening, and Joel, it was a super job that you've done on the new opening here for Mid-South Wrestling.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I had a whole lot of help from Ron Toma, a director at KTBS, and I'd like to thank all the wrestlers, of course, for providing the action. And you know, Jim, you're right, it's going to be an action-packed hour today. Our big main event today is between the Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the Midnight Express for the Mid-South Tag Team titles, and that is a no disqualification bout.
No disqualification it will be, and when we talk about the rules, we do have some special announcements to make during this hour. And to start things off, let's go to ringside and the president of Mid-South, Cowboy Bill Watts.
You know, when I was watching my favorite sport, wrestling on the Olympics, the United States 136-pounder in Greco-Roman in a match beat the Canadian 3-0. Then the FILA, the organization governing the wrestling rules, a protest was entered by his coach. They looked at the films, and overnight the 3-0 victory became a 3-3 tie, which he lost on criteria. He lost his chance to go for the gold medal in Greco-Roman due to winning it on the mat and losing it in the boardroom. And I want to say one thing. Mid-South will never reverse a decision won in the ring due to what's on the videotape. Whatever stays out there, that's going to be the final decision. But we found that a lot of fans have reacted, and they're right, that we have been justifying a situation with Steve Dr. Death Williams and Terry Taylor, where Terry won this medal in the Superdome June 16th, the television title. Now, Dr. Death had taken it away from the Russian, and we all thought, and he and Terry were friends, so it's kind of a symbolic deal. But when Terry won the medal, Doc didn't give it back to him. And last week, when Terry was going to wrestle the Russian, Doc said, if you beat the Russian, who I took the medal away from, this time I'll really give it back to you. Let's listen to Doc's own words on this subject.
Mid-South Wrestling does not recognize you as a champion. Terry Taylor is the television champion.
I should be up here wrestling the TV champion. I should be wrestling for it. This thing stinks. This whole thing stinks.
Terry Taylor is the television champion, Doc. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. You are not recognized by Mid-South as the champion. Terry Taylor's a champion. He's going to defend his belt here in just a few moments, having this medal.
This whole thing stinks. All right. If Terry can beat Kruschev, I'll give him the medal, but I doubtful that he'll beat Kruschev.
So there you heard Doc make the vow that if Terry could defend the title successfully against Khrushchev, he would give him the medal back. Meanwhile, Terry had also successfully defended the title against Dr. Death, and he yet refused to give the medal back. Now we'll see at the closing moments of this match just how intense Doc has gotten into this TV medal as he tries to make sure you don't beat the Russian. Let's watch the closing moments.
Khrushchev's just a big powerhouse, and, you know, I know from refereeing, Terry Taylor knocked out of the ring, and Dr. Death is going over. He's got Terry Taylor by the hair, and he has run Terry Taylor's head into that steel pole. He has run it into the steel ring post, and Terry Taylor is hurt. The piston. Dr. Death ran Terry Taylor's head right into that steel ring post. And boy, it looks as if Terry Taylor has been severely lacerated. Krusher Kruschev now moving in, trying to attack that laceration.
He's quickly trying to capitalize on that happened at the hands of Dr. Death Williams, who's still on the outside of the ring.
Arm whip into the side, and Terry Taylor appears to be in a predicament. Like I said, Boyd, I've known Dr. Death for a long time, and this just is not him.
Well, he threw Terry Taylor into that steel ring post, and you can see the crimson flowing profusely.
Dr. Death has certainly changed 100% from the person that I knew once. These type of tactics should never be used in any match, much less a title match. I think the taste of the gold has gone to Dr. Death's head. I don't, like I said before, maybe he's being influenced by the wrong people.
Well, the thing about it, we know, and stated earlier, Krusher Kruschev, as he's turned his back on America, and of course, Steve Dr. Death Williams, that's America. He doesn't care for Khruschev, or he doesn't care for Terry Taylor, either one.
Khruschev applying a chokehold. Carl Fergie trying to break it up now. Khrushchev's got him covered for a 2 count. A 2 count. Terry Taylor kicks out. And you know, the loss of blood in a match like this has got to start becoming a factor at this time. Boy, he's got him. He rolled him up. He's got him rolled up. 1, 2, a 2 count. And Terry Taylor hit Dr. Death right across the jawbone with a thundering forearm. I'm sure he's got to be pretty angry about going into that ring post. Dr. Death is dazed. Terry Taylor's got him rolled up.
You got him.
A 3 count. Terry Taylor retains the television championship. And now it's up to Dr. Death. He promised to give that medal back. He promised to give it back. Terry Taylor is hurt, but victorious. He is hurt, tired, exhausted. The loss of blood has got to be getting to him by now. Dr. Death, he promised to give the medal back. He's taking it off his neck now. It looks like he hit Terry Taylor. He hit Terry Taylor right across the forehead with that medal.
And he did not do what he said he would do, Joel.
Well, we agree with the fans in that if you won something in the ring, that's where you should have to lose it. And we're certainly not going to condone somebody that tries to gain notoriety or fame by stealing what doesn't rightfully belong to him. And I'm a little bit disappointed in Doc, because when he won all his All-American honors at the University of Oklahoma, he won it on the playing field in football and on the mats in NCAA wrestling. And I'm sure that he would have been just as disappointed had somebody stolen one of those awards. So, Terry, here's the TV title back that you so aptly won in the ring.
Well, thank you very much, Bill. It's been a long, long time coming, and I'm just glad. The quest for this gold medal, I don't know, it's taken me a long, long way down a long road. I want to thank all the fans for your support, and I just hope I can defend this title the way that they would want me to.
Well, we'll be back with more action after these words from our Mid-South sponsors.
This event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. On my left in the blue corner, 210 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Rocky Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're all familiar with my bodyguard, the man I hired because of all the loonies running around here, but I want to make one comment. I agree with Mid-South Wrestling for once. They have levied a $10,000 fine for anybody that uses a 2x4, just like Hacksaw Duggan does. They've levied a $10,000 fine for anybody that uses a chain, like the Junkyard Dog does. They've levied a $10,000 fine for anybody that uses a metal chair, like Sonny King does. Now, of course, they did agree to also levy a suspension on me if I use my racket, which I don't agree with, because how could a little tennis racket hurt somebody? But I've agreed to go along with it in the interest of fair play. I assure you I agree with Mid-South 100%. We must have fair play. And as a matter of fact, in a related incident, I will be doing commentary on this match to give you an unbiased opinion on this man right here, my bodyguard, 268 pounds of unleashed fury, Hercules Hernandez.
Your referee for this event, Pee Wee Anderson.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the comments of Jim Cornette, so I suppose I will have the privilege, for lack of a better term, of him joining me here at Mike's side to add his so-called expert commentary to this match.
It's so nice to have me, Jim Ross. It's so nice to have me.
Hercules.
And now you see Hercules Hernandez taking complete command of his opponent. You know, Hercules Hernandez had tremendous potential, and I saw that immediately as soon as I saw him. But the one thing that was lacking was a little bit of guidance, which I was able to offer. And I remember last week you were a little bit puzzled as to the name of his hold that he used, his new maneuver that he used to beat his opponent, the Shinnomaki. Is that right, Jim Ross?
That's exactly right. I certainly was.
Well, being a student of antiquity, I remembered that the Shinnomaki was developed by the ancient race of Mongolians in the Middle Ages as a means of hand-to-hand combat. The Orientals have always been masters of hand-to-hand combat. They used that in any instance where they needed to use guerrilla warfare without the use of weapons. The Shinnomaki cuts off the supply of blood to the brain through the carotid artery in the neck, just as any sleeper does, but it is a much more deadly version. You know, everybody thinks in a sleeper you go to sleep. You don't go to sleep, you go unconscious. It's just like if you and your tremendously bad physical condition stood up too fast, the blood rushes from your head and you nearly pass out. That's exactly what it is, Jim Ross. Another thing, the reason why Hercules Hernandez is my bodyguard, I want to remind everyone, is because Hacksaw Duggan is an idiot. He's a loony, he's a crazy man, and he's running around here trying to do me physical harm, and that's exactly why I've hired this man, because anybody that touches me will have to deal with him.
Well, there's
and
the
there is the
Shinnomaki.
Shinnomaki. And in addition, I understand that Joel Watts has been doing a lot of videos around here lately on the Fantastics and all these other people. They did one on Hacksaw Duggan, Jim Ross, but they can't show it because it reveals the fact that he can't beat anybody unless he uses a 2x4. I've heard this through my connections at the network. Right there, the Shinnomaki, the most feared hold in wrestling. It's dangerous in the hands of any man. But with arms like that, Hercules Hernandez's power, it's awesome. It's unstoppable. The Shinnomaki is unbreakable. I don't care who he puts it on, Jim Ross.
Well, Hercules Hernandez in very impressive fashion, ladies and gentlemen, the victor in this match. He, of course, will have to wake up his opponent. That is part of the situation here.
He might. Now, you know what this is? A little massage to the side of the neck as well as a good hard blow restores that blood flow up through the carotid artery. It brings the blood back to the brain a little bit quicker. Yeah, he's coming around here in a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He'll be a little dizzy for a
we'll
while.
be back with more action right after this word from Mid-South Wrestling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just as in any sport, there has to be rules and regulations that people have to abide by, and Mid-South makes every effort to maintain these rules. We have so many tremendously extroverted and aggressive athletes that sometimes it's virtually impossible to do. And when they ask for special matches with special stipulations, and they sign those matches, both parties agree to suffer the consequences as they were. Well, in relationship to these tremendous rule breaks, these tremendous things that have happened right here on television, Cowboy Bill Watts has made a special statement, and he's also had a very special interview with Sonny King. Let's see that now.
You know, Sonny, in the 1960s when I got into wrestling, it seems like wrestling was outgrowing the rules and regulations. And, you know, the other night I was watching the Olympics, and a guy said gymnastics, that the sport of gymnastics has outgrown the way of scoring, that the way of scoring is antiquated. When I got in wrestling in the 1960s, if two guys got in a fight that broke the rules, they brought it back in a no disqualification match and they settled the issue. And wrestling promoters and associations have tried to enforce rules and regulations, but it seems like the wrestlers have always wanted to leave the scope of what the rules and regulations were in order to settle the issue, to make it more exciting, to make it a bigger gamble, or to finally injure somebody and put them out of business. They've always sought for that final match that would settle the issue. In the 1960s, there came the Texas Death Match. Falls don't count, no disqualification, 30 seconds between falls, goes to one man couldn't answer the bell. Then in 1970, there was a Brass Knucks Championship declared with Sputnik Monroe, and a vivid and colorful history. In 1973, with Dusty Rhodes, we developed a bunkhouse match. Come as dressed as you are, your cowboy boots, your buckles, whatever. Then in 1974, Dusty Rhodes made history with a bull rope match. Two guys tied together with a bull riding rope. Then in 1976, I guess I got a lot of national publicity for walking tall against Abdullah the Butcher in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1979, the JYD developed the dog collar match. First time ever against Bob Sweetan. In 1982, in the Superdome, a ghetto street fight, Junkyard Dog and Reed. Then in 1983, Hacksaw Duggan came up with the coal miner's glove match. All these different matches increased the specter of violence, increased the danger of risk, but it's all based upon one guy wanting to get rid of the other guy and not have any rules and regulations. Then 3 weeks ago, I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, as you went in the ring after Duggan brought a 2x4 in, and it got taken away from him, and you're the guy that got injured. Let's look at that.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan's got the 2x4. Landel's got his feet. Hernandez has got the 2x4. We got more action. Hernandez
looks as if he doesn't know who to knock out with that board. And he goes to Sonny King.
Hernandez with a vicious blow. The 2x4. Sonny King. Hernandez is working over Sonny King with the board. The referee's trying to restore some sort of order.
He's been hit 3 times across the shoulder area with that 2x4.
And there, Sonny King, you did what is probably the most noble sacrifice of all. You sacrificed for your brother. Even though he brought the 2x4 in the ring, and definitely Hernandez was trying to injure him. He vented his anger on you, and you've been on the shelf for 3 weeks.
That's right, Bill. You know what's been going on around here. You know how things are set up, and I know what goes on in those guys' dressing room. I'm one of the guys that have been there before, and I know exactly what their thoughts are and what they're trying to do, Bill. And I know. See, professional wrestling, everybody asks you, is what you do on TV, is it real? People, I'm sitting here with a dislocated shoulder. I want to tell you that it's 3 weeks of my living is down the drain. This is for real. Bill, I realized what was going on, but I thought at the moment it was the proper thing to do. And I want to say to you that I like Hacksaw Duggan. I don't blame him for what he was trying to do. And it's become, like you said, it become a time when the wrestlers, just like the fan, they feel like we got to get rid of these people. So how do you go by doing it? And they just get in these ideas to get.
Well, I want to say one thing. It seems like with the dog, it's the chain. With me, it was a 2 before. With Duggan, it's a 2 before.
Yeah.
It seems like Cornette and some of these guys do have valid reasoning, but whatever. We can't stop it all. Mid-South knows that. But we are going to make it a $10,000 fine for anybody that brings a 2 before, a steel chair, a chain, or a tennis racket, Jim Cornette, to the ring and hit somebody with the object, unless it's one of these matches that we have no control over, that are outside the rules and regulation. If somebody brings, it's going to be a $10,000 fine, or they're going to leave Mid-South. And that's just, we can't stop everything, but we got to try to stop it before somebody is critically injured or permanently injured. And of course, what is the status of your injury? When do you think you'll be back?
Well, Bill, I'm not going to say. It's a secret between myself and my doctor. Every night, I'm going to honor my contracts. I'm going to show up to all the arenas, and I'm going to be there. Only me and my doctors know when I'm ready. But, Bill, I would tell you this, like I've said before. I will be there, and when the opportunity come up, I will take advantage of it. And I guarantee you, for all of the tickets that the people have bought, my name was on a contract, and I didn't get in and give you a match. I will honor all of those contracts. I'm going to wrestle each one of these people that I was supposed to wrestle, and I'm also going to give you the big surprise of your lifetime because, Bill, I've been down before. People all over the country read about it. I survived it. I came back. I told my kid when he came to intensive care and looked down in my face and I didn't start crying. He says, "Daddy, are you going to ever be able to wrestle again?" And I said to my kid, he's now 10 years old, I says, "Larry, Daddy, get back up and make you proud of him." And, Bill, when you do that for your kid, you got something to live for.
We'll be back after these words from Jim Ross and Joel Watts.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the way that I read that situation, of course, the announcement of Cowboy Bill Watts is crystal clear about the $10,000 fine. But I also think we need to keep in mind that Sonny King intends to keep the pressure on his perpetrators. I think that it's very obvious that he's going to keep his physical status a deep secret between him and his physician. And it looks to me like Sonny King is preparing to attack without warning. Sonny King is a man to be reckoned with. And now let's go to our ring announcer, Boyd Pierce.
This tag team event, 1 fall, 10-minute time limit. In the red corner, 265 pounds from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Big Bad Bob Owens. And his team partner, Atlanta, Georgia, 225 pounds, Tim Horton. Their opponents in the ring, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics.
The Fantastics making their way to the ring with their traditional ZZ Top music, going against Big Bad Bob Owens.
Well, the Fantastics certainly make a flashy entrance, but you know, when they get those tuxedo tops off, they can still back it up with their athletic talent.
There's the bell from referee Ron West. Tim Horton is the partner of Bob Owens. It'll be Fulton and Owens starting out the action. The Fantastics, and they are indeed that, ladies and gentlemen, top tag team contenders. It's very obvious. Great drop kick by Rogers. They get better every week. They are lightning fast and so very, very explosive.
Both of them, Jim, are tremendous athletes. And you know, when you're talking about tremendous athletes, it brings to mind Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair. You know, I'd like to wish Kerry the very best of luck in his quest for the gold to regain that title from now the world's champion Ric Flair. He kind of got a raw deal, so to speak, in Japan when Ric Flair won the title back from him, and I certainly wish him the best of luck in his upcoming title defense.
Rogers can't explode him. He exploded off that second rope.
Tommy Rogers went completely across the ring and landed on Tim Horton.
We talked about him being explosive, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with Steve Dr. Death Williams right after this.
Event, one fall, 10-minute time limit. In the red corner, at 270 pounds, former Oklahoma University football star and now top-ranked wrestler, Dr. Death Steve Williams. And in the blue corner, at 226 pounds, his opponent from Salem, Virginia, Rick McCord. Carl Fergie, your referee.
This match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Steve Dr. Death Williams will be going against Rick McCord, and there's the bell. You know, as Joe Watts mentioned just a little bit earlier, we do want to wish Kerry Von Erich our very best. Mid-South had a very instrumental part in securing a neutral site for this rematch as a result of what many experts consider to be a little foul play in Japan. And that match will be coming up next week, ladies and gentlemen, so don't miss that one. And speaking of great matches and great talent, Steve Dr. Death Williams possesses a tremendous amount of talent, four-time All-American on the wrestling mat and a football animal.
Terrific shoulder block. Steve Williams showing that football prowess. You know, another pair of great athletes are coming up. The Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Duggan going against the Midnight Express, and that's bound to be wild and woolly because it's another one of those matches where, of course, it's no disqualification. So the referee doesn't have a whole lot of control over it. It's one of those type things where they just want to go toe-to-toe, so to speak, and get things settled between them.
We've talked about the no disqualification clauses. Once those contracts are signed, both teams have to suffer the consequences, and there's a lot of hatred, a lot of animosity that will be displayed in that match coming up next. But focusing right back on the squared circle, we've got a very physical Steve Dr. Death Williams, tremendously strong, and he is so very, very physical. Ladies and gentlemen, and Joel, the thing about this, Dr. Death is so young, he is getting better and better every week.
Yes, he's certainly improved weekly, as you say, Jim, now that he's been in the professional ranks. It just took a little bit of time to hone all that raw talent that he's got into the wrestling machine that he has become.
He picks the McCord up just like a rag doll. He's got him set for the stampede.
Oh! He just about drove him through those 2x4s, and that'll be all for Rick McCord.
Dr. Death with an awesome victory. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. JYD and Hacksaw Duggan go for the Mid-South Tag titles. No disqualification coming up next.
This event for the Mid-South Tag Team.
Boy, you look like an explosion in a fireworks plant. Ladies and gentlemen, you are privileged tonight, beyond all other nights, to see the greatest Mid-South Tag Team Championship match that you will ever see in your entire life. And wait, just hold this for me just a second. Boy, I got something I got to do.
Wrestling fans, this is one fall. Our television time remaining Mid-South Tag Team Championship is on the line. There's no disqualification. Now, if Jim Cornette will come back.
Okay, I just had a couple of things I had to take care of. You know, my bodyguard, Hercules Hernandez, I trust him completely. Any investment, any purchase that my mother and I want to make, any cash that we have to be handled, I trust him fully to do it. I don't even need my bodyguard at ringside tonight because Hacksaw Duggan's going to be in this match, and he's the reason I have to have one in the first place. But I will introduce to you the most awesome combination in wrestling, the #1 cause of divorce in America today, Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
Coming in the ring, the challengers for the title, the Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. No disqualification.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you see it, the 4 competitors in our television main event. And without a doubt, this would be a main event in any arena in the country. The Mid-South Tag Team titles will be on the line. No disqualification. They signed the contracts, and here we go with one of the greatest main events we've ever had here on Mid-South.
You're 100% right, Jim. I think Grizzly Smith has really outdone himself this time with this match. It was Bobby Eaton with a hard right crust at JYD. Doesn't seem to faze him too much. And, you know, something I noted, Jim, is JYD in the absence of that ever-present chain that's been around his neck for years and years here in the Mid-South is now gone because of the recent furor over the $10,000 fine.
Well, chain or no chain, 2x4 or no 2x4, the Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan are an awesome force to reckon with. Cornette and his team know that. They're sitting on top of the mountain right now.
There's no doubt about that. I believe Jim Cornette has got to be concerned at this point. He's got a lot of confidence in his team's quickness and their great shape, their aerobic conditioning, but here on television with the shorter time limit, it seems that may work to their disadvantage.
Duggan with that clothesline, and he nailed Condrey. Duggan and the Dog with an obvious size and strength advantage. And the Midnight Express are going to have to tag in and out quickly. And thus far, they have not had that opportunity.
Duggan and Dog now working together as quite a good team. You see,
there's that save. Now, that would have been a disqualification, but there are no disqualifications in this match. I'll say this at the outset. Referee Pee Wee Anderson has really got his hands full. As a former official myself, you really feel helpless in those situations.
Pee Wee's obviously doing his best, but there's only so much you can do in a no DQ bout.
Over the top!
Throws Bobby Eaton over that top rope.
Out to the concrete he goes. Remember, no disqualification, ladies and gentlemen, in this match.
Duggan's such a powerful individual. He and the Junkyard Dog both. It seems now Jim Cornette's looking pretty concerned.
Well, he should be concerned at this point in time because his champions have not really been on the offensive yet. Remember, this is one fall or TV time remaining.
And you know, Jim, it pleases me to see the absence of Hercules Hernandez. He could certainly become a factor in a no DQ bout.
Duggan twirled him around like a rag doll, and then he slams him viciously.
Duggan with a tremendous elbow. Tremendous elbow. Bobby Eaton now in a lot of pain. Duggan hesitating, though. That might have been a slight tactical error on Duggan's part. I'm sure he knows what he's doing, though.
Snapmare by the dog with that big old right hand. It found a home on the forehead of beautiful Bobby. And look at Condrey, somewhat hesitant. And who can blame him about stepping in there with a mad dog? The Junkyard Dog, one of the strongest men in all of wrestling. Condrey may have fallen right to the trap, and the dog's so strong.
Condrey's going to have to pull something out of his hat. Dog with that patented headbutt. Lateral press. 2. Dennis Condrey kicked out. Another 2 count. Dennis Condrey, a strong man himself.
Midnight Express, both men are in great shape. The dog with a
Junkyard Dog. That was about a 2 3/4 count there. Bobby Eaton now trying to hedge the rules a little bit while Pee Wee Anderson had his back turned.
As I said, the referee has one pair of eyes to try to stay on 4 men, and with Cornette, maybe 4.5 men. Dog powers out.
Bobby Eaton going for that quick fall. I think he might have underestimated the dog just a slight bit.
Now you see the Midnight Express at their best, working in their half of the ring, tagging in and out very quickly.
The action is just so intense, Jim Ross. This has got to be one of the most exciting matches I've ever seen on Mid-South.
Here comes the hacksaw. He's walking tall.
The fans are really going wild.
Now we've got all 4 of them in there.
It had to happen sooner or later, Jim Ross. It had in a no DQ bout with this kind of tempers flaring. These men are going after it now.
The dog, at Cornette. Cornette has pounded the dog's eyes, and Duggan's chasing him right out.
Junkyard Dog is blinded.
The referee goes out. JY is blinded. Condrey's on the floor. We've got bodies everywhere.
Hacksaw Duggan now trying to put the coup de grace on Bobby Eaton. But Pee Wee Anderson's not there to make it the count. He's out on the floor writhing in pain.
And JYD's blinded, and Condrey's trying to take over on him.
Pee Wee Anderson is really hurt.
Cornette goes for an awkward elbow, and he hit his own man, and now Duggan's got Cornette.
Duggan has got Cornette.
JYD's blinded on the floor, and he's fighting with Cornette, doing the best he can. And Duggan's choking the life out of Cornette. Here's Hernandez.
Hernandez has got that coal miner's glove. I thought Kruschev had the coal miner's glove. Hernandez just waylaid Hacksaw Duggan with that coal miner's glove. And there's Hernandez and Cornette trying to revive Pee Wee Anderson, who's finally made it back into the ring.
JYD was blinded outside. Hernandez came in with a coal miner's glove, and he leveled Duggan. The winners of the match, remember, it was no disqualification. The Midnight Express, the winners. We've got scheduled to have Tony Torres against Hans Schroeder coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at ringside. Mr. Cornette has a statement About the rules. You're a fine one to talk about the rules.
About the rules, exactly right. Listen to my voice. He's already damaged my vocal cords. Let me tell you something. True or false, am I telling a lie? Hacksaw Duggan and Junkyard Dog were the ones that asked for no disqualification, right?
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right, because they wanted to declare open season on me. They wanted to get me. We wanted to wrestle with honor, defend our belts by the rules, be a credit to the sport of wrestling in the Mid-South Territory, but they demanded no disqualification, so that means that they got what they deserved. There's a $10,000 fine for the boards, the chairs, the chains. Nobody said anything about a glove, did they, Jim Ross? Nobody said anything about a glove.
Say no.
Nobody said anything. Next, they're going to tell us what brand of underwear we can wear to the ring. The whole thing's nonsense in the first place, but nobody said anything about a glove. They demanded it, so they got what's coming to them. Because let me tell you one thing above all else. Anybody who tries to outsmart Jim Cornette is going to have the tables turned on him in a fitting manner. I can guarantee you that right now.
Well, that's Mr. Cornette's version of his interpretation of the rules, and we'll be back with a great tag team match right after this.
This is a standby bout, one fall or television time remaining, a tag team match. In the red corner, from California, Nature Boy Buddy Landel, and his team partner, the Russian sympathizer Krusher Kruschev. Koko Ware, the pretty young thing. Your referee, Carl Berge.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have a great deal of time. The competitors have been notified of the time. They will be going for it. You can bet on that, too. Outstanding tag team combinations. Landel and Khrushchev going against the PYT, Koko Ware and Norvell Austin.
Yes, Grizzly Smith has informed us that if there is a draw in this match, he will try to get the bout rescheduled for next week, which would be really great, seeing as how it is such a great main event.
Well, the men have been notified, as I mentioned, of the lack of time remaining. They are going to go for the downs, no doubt about that. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, right here next week, a very, very special feature. A workout with the North American champion, Magnum TA, Terry Taylor, and Tommy Rogers. That should be exciting. That will happen next week. Koko Ware and Norvell Austin now tagging in and out quickly. They have had the most experience, obviously working as a unit. We have 2 minutes of television time remaining.
Yes, as he said, Jim Ross, both Koko Ware and Norvell Austin have spent a great deal of time in professional wrestling, specifically working as a unit. And you know, where they came from, Memphis, Tennessee, it wasn't past them to hedge the rules a little bit. They weren't exactly always the crowd favorite.
They are certainly tough competitors, and so is Landel, like a little shark, taking advantage. He'll stand in the wings, and when you least expect it, there he is. Landel goes for deliver the coup de grace, but he went to the well, and it was dry.
So I think there's a whole lot of Jim Cornette in Nature Boy Buddy Landel, and that he is just as devious as he is a good athlete.
Norvell Austin, side headlock. It takes Landel over.
Of course, I don't mean to insinuate in any way that Jim Cornette is a great athlete.
Our director, Oral Inc., has notified us we are under 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen.
Norvell Austin's neck was dropped right across that steel cable. He's obviously hurt.
Landel tagging out. In comes the powerful Russian sympathizer, Krusher Kruschev.
Khruschev now trying to take advantage of that injury to Norvell Austin.
Ladies and gentlemen, 30 seconds left. There's the tag. Here comes Koko. Koko Ware cleaning house.
He's really taking it to Landel and Kruschev.
Drop kick. He was in the lights.
Tremendous.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have less than 15 seconds left. For Boyd Pierce, Joel Watts, I'm Jim Ross, saying thanks for being with us, and we'll see you right here next week for another exciting hour. We'll try to have this match back. We'll see you next week on Mid-South Wrestling.